The main thing you need to know about the Professional Cloud Architect certification is that it isn't a theoretical test. This certification has been designed to confirm the skills required of a practitioner. Specifically, it tests whether you know how to do the job of a cloud architect. It doesn't just test whether you know lots of general information. It asks questions to see if you can think like a cloud architect and solve problems like a cloud architect. Look, that means the certification is going to be more challenging than other certifications you may have heard about that only test on information. But it also means that the certification means something, and that's one reason it's highly valued in the industry. The practical nature of the exam makes it challenging, but it also makes it valuable. I just want to caution you that the Associate Cloud Engineer is not a simpler and easier cloud architect exam. All of these certifications are based on real-world, practical job skills required and used by practitioners in the industry. A cloud engineer uses the same technology as the cloud architect. However, their job focus is different, and so the skills are different. For example, a cloud architect might consider how to design a Kubernetes cluster to meet customer requirements. A cloud engineer might run jobs on the cluster and be more focused on monitoring the cluster and measuring and maintaining its performance. A cloud architect designs the solution and implements it. A cloud engineer operates the solution, monitors it, maintains it, and evolves it as business circumstances change. So which certification or certifications you might want depends on your job role, the job you have, or the job you want to have. A main differentiator between the professional level certification and the associate certification is the focus on designing and on business requirements. If you're involved in designing, planning, proof of concept, and identifying the business needs, then you should be looking at the professional certification. And if you're going to focus on implementing and operating and on the technical requirements, then you should consider the associate certification. In addition to the business requirements, there are differences in the technical requirements. For example, a cloud engineer might need more practice operating and maintaining a solution, whereas a cloud architect might need to know more about how different options will change and how the solution is operated and maintained. They're related technical skills, but they serve a different purpose and perspective. Here's some direct advice to help you decide where to start. If your job focuses mainly on business requirements and not on implementation, or if your job does not focus on business requirements but only on technical requirements, start with the Associate Cloud Engineer Certification, the ACE. If your job involves all three, business requirements, technical requirements, and implementation, start with the Professional Cloud Architect certification. And if your job is not associated with any of these, then start with the Associate Cloud Engineer. The exam is about 2 hours. In the US, as an example, the cost is about $200. You can check local prices and currencies online. The exam is available globally. You have to take it at a Criterion testing center. Let's see, what else can I tell you? You're not allowed to have scratch paper, a pen, or notes. No drinks are allowed. You can take a bathroom break, but the time continues to count down. Many people report that they use the entire 2 hours. Here are some general tips. The certification offers a practice test. Use it. There's also a lot of opportunities in this course to practice and develop good test-taking skills. Also, I think it's a good idea to look at each possible answer as if it were the only answer available and evaluate whether it could be true or not. Do this before choosing from the alternatives. And finally, pace yourself. Avoid getting bogged down on any single question. There are two general approaches to preparing for the certification exams. The first approach, which is the most common, is what I call cram for the exam. That is, you start with basic information, like the information covered in our courses, and you review that information and make sure you've mastered and can recall the majority of it. Then you research and practice. In a formal education science, this is called the mastery method. When you're proficient, then you can attempt the exam. This class uses a different approach. We identify key points. Some of them are complex or subtle. If you understand and know those points, you have an indicator that you have knowledge of all the elements that go into that solution. If you don't understand a point or sense that you're missing something or it's weak in some aspects, you can note those items and use that as a guide for what to study. Fill in the gaps on what you need to know by going back to the training that contains them or by exploring documentation or labs to solidify your understanding. Rehearse the problem-solving skills of the profession, and when you're proficient, you can attempt the exam. The benefit of the bottom-up approach is that it doesn't skip anything. On the other hand, a lot of time is spent covering things you already know. The benefit of the top-down approach is that it respects the studying and work you've already done, so it helps you focus much more quickly on what you need to learn. There's far less time spent reviewing information that you already know. Should you guess, or are you better off leaving an item blank? There's no advantage to leaving a question unanswered. One of the most important features of this exam is that you can bookmark questions you're unsure about, and you can review those questions later. You can actually do iterative rounds if you have the time. So answer the easiest and most certain questions first. Then answer the next and the next until what's left are the questions that are hard for you. Use everything you know to sort out exactly what's being asked and surface which information is important. The ability to bookmark items and come back to them is really powerful. I suggest that you practice this way. Like when you're studying, practice recognizing when you don't know something or are not sure about it and bookmark it for later consideration. Then go back and take a look at your bookmarked answers to see if you still agree with your original response.